Hello my legend modelers and welcome to a final building video. This time it will be a famous aircraft, and that is Mustang P-51. As you can see, I start cleaning excess plastic with sharp cutters, and of course with a sharp knife cut the excess plastic on the necessary parts as a cockpit, start building the cockpit, and of course here I just use sharp knife for cleaning the edges on the propeller as well, because it doesn't look nice on our models. And here you can see I using super glue, tweezers and some wires to add additional details to the cockpit parts, because they are not here because it's from a 1990 kinda year, and now we can spray the cockpit. And after that, here we are going to mix our color, that is the dark green from Tamiya, and is the best color for the cockpit parts and of course for the insides of the cockpit. So we just use a leveling thinner or alcohol and just spray it on our parts here. If you're asking, my airbrush is Fengda AG130 with 0.3mm nozzle. We just sprayed a few nice smooth layers to the best coverage properties, as you can see here. And of course, don't forget, on our cockpit we used just chrome paint from a spray can as a chipping layer, and after that we sprayed with our dark green color from just Tamiya, and later we scraped off the excess paint with tweezers to make like chips, like the cockpit kind of fall apart, a lot of scratches. And as I said, here we are starting making some scratches with our little tweezers on some cockpit areas, and it looks pretty nice, these small details. So when the scratch is done, I just grab a paintbrush and start painting with ochre color from Revell, just to see it with a nice kind of like a texture for the seat. Made was basically from the wood, and that's we are going to achieving here just with this color, and it looks pretty nice, I must say. After the main cockpit part, we can move to the hull parts, and here we are using a sharp paintbrush and of course black color to paint small details here, like these maybe small dashboards or some batteries in the insides of the hull of the plane. And of course, don't forget on these small squares, which are, I think, or it looks like covers for the wires. And now we can paint wires itself, like the cables, with some different colors, with black, yellow, and of course with this nice blue one color from Vallejo. I really love that color, so I use it almost every time on some of these small details, which just makes kind of sense. And don't forget on the small buttons here as well, we just use again yellow and this lovely blue one. When it's all done, I just use a black wash from just the ordinary acrylic color, and later we will wipe it out. When the wash is done, I can easily clean it with just water to do some nicer look, but I didn't make it when it was fresh, so it looks not good at all. So now we can just glue the cockpit to the side of it to the full completion, and now we can easily glue a hull together. As you can see, we must line it up perfectly, and when it's all done, we just use classic thin glue and press these together. Now I use tweezers and these small doors to hide the small wheel inside of the plane as well, because I don't like this on a finished model, so I decided to make it like closed position. And after that, the hull have a few holes and some impurities, so I just use Mr. Filling body, but it has this weird texture, so I switched to the classic Revell body to fill the holes and the lines in the hull of the plane. And now we move to the wings. We just use again just classic thin glue and glue it together with the bottom part of the wing. And don't forget, of course, on the second wing as well, and just glue it together. And with this step is wings finished, so we can move on and be ready for what's coming next. When is the filling with a putty dried out and it's ready, we just use nail files, of course nail papers, to scrap out the excess putty from the holes and make it really smooth. And of course, as you can see, I just use also a sharp knife for better job and precise work to done the excess putty here. After that, we just make another hole filled up with a putty. As you can see, it's right besides the wings and of course the main hull, and we must sand it out with this huge block of sandpaper, kinda to smooth finish. I just tried hard to smooth it out somehow, and it turned out kinda well, as you can see here. To be extremely sure, I just secured the hole and of course cracks in the wing spots with a fuselage with a super glue to be extremely sure it didn't crack besides the painting. Now we can easily clean the excess mold lines here on this small part for wheels, adding covers for the wheels and completing the wheel itself with just a wheel and of course covers for it. Here it is, nice look. And now I can glue the engine pipes here. I just use again the classic thin glue, and here is the other one, which is, I don't know why it's bigger, so I must use some brutal force, just side cutters, and a little bit reshape it to the correct shape. And after that, as you can see here, it fits well. Nice. When the whole building is done, we can finally move to the painting of this beauty. I just start cleaning the gross, grease, and of course some dust particles with alcohol and just a paintbrush. Of course we can use for quicker drying the airbrush air, and now I can start finally spraying this lovely plane with just a black color, because we must have a shiny coat before applying the classic P-51 Mustang shiny metallic one. So I just use my airbrush, and after that, for nice shiny color, I just use a gloss black from a can, and when it's dried I start spraying again with a can. Nice chrome color here, it looks amazing, I must say. Of course, don't forget on the other side as well with this nice shiny color, it looks amazing. After that we just paint the fuel tanks here, and with a paintbrush I just use a metallic color from Revell, painted it in a few smooth layers, and after that we just use a chipping technique. I just put small amount of color on the brush and start randomly tapping to make it like it was in some use after a few combat battles. And don't forget on the propeller, I decided to make a red one propeller with of course white stripes later. We will see. For the first time I try riveting from Temu, just as you saw my latest video reviewing tools from Temu. I of course buy this one riveting tool, and it kinda make work done, so it was my first attempt, so be nice to me. And I just of course paint the hood with a green color. When the hood is done, I again move to the propeller and I just paint stripes with a nice yellow color. We must use a few layers to the full opacity, and finally adding wheels to the bottom of the plane. When the painting is almost done, I just use a classic black tape to make stripes on the upper part of the wings, and I use again just a brush and the yellow color. Make a few layers to the full opacity. But as you can see, it looks kinda nice, but after that, when I ripped the classic black tape from the model, it just happened this small disaster, as you can see right now. Oof. But it makes some additional scratches, but I just covered it in a metallic color and with a paintbrush. Yeah, it doesn't looks shiny anymore, but I kinda dig in the look. And of course, don't forget paint this one as well. Before applying any chemicals, we just start coating the model in a gloss varnish, because gloss varnish is better for like the enamel paints or just for enamel washes. So again, few layers here. When the plane is ready, I start painting the whole body with enamel color and just few drops of enamel thinner, and clean it, of course, with it because it's too dirty, and some fuel exhaust pipes dirt coming from the sides of the plane, and we can, don't forget, put a few of the other side as well. And after that we can finally move to the final finish, and that will be adding a canopy and of course adding a small amount of a matte varnish, or maybe I use the gloss one, I'm not sure. And after that we will see finished model.